Real production here, girls. We are live and welcome to the Destiny Club. Today is Saturday, March 14th, and Donna Neiman will be presenting our Destiny Club information. We had a wonderful first streaming this morning, and we're anticipating a wonderful second streaming. Please comment, tell us you're here, and we'll get back to you. And if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please tell us. And now I'm going to turn it over to Donna. Don't get seasick as I turn.
Good morning. This is our second time around. Hopefully, it goes as well or as the first. Today on Destiny, we're going to use our auto applique feature that's on our machine. A couple things. It's that time of year after the Christmas holidays and stuff. They haven't been that long ago. You should be really cleaning your machines, going through them, making sure they're working well. We've had a lot of people who say they bring in their machines to be cleaned that there's enough little dust bunnies in there to make a blanket. Okay, so today we're going to use the embroidery feature. Our focus today, creating appliques in your Destiny user guide, 254 to 255, creating applique pieces. 263 and 265, saving and retrieving your designs. Your designs, when you save them on a USB, they come up on your USB stick saved in a B pocket. So you're going to have to open up that B pocket to retrieve a design that you may have saved from somewhere. It won't come up the name of it. It'll be under B pocket. So many times people say, I saved this design to my USB and now I can't find it. It's because it's in a B pocket. It'll be in a folder named B pocket. So look for that when you're saving. On today's project that I do a patch with, I use the twill fabric with batting on the back and an iron-on stabilizer on the back of my twill fabric. Gives it a little more support. Okay, with this design, we're going to click on the embroidery. And what we're doing, a lot of times we're stitching on a hard to reach place or on a really fine fabric, but we want a little bit denser design. But we don't want to put it on that because on that little onesie that you might be making and you got 10,000 stitches, that poor little kid's going to have this, lean over and have this little crusty piece on their bellies. Now you can make like a patch and put that patch on the same thing, and we're going to stitch around it. We're going to do this all in our embroidery machine. So the first step you need to do is click on embroidery. You're going to choose your design. It can be something in the machine, something that you bought elsewhere, something that you designed yourself. I have this on a stick, so I put my USB stick in the side and I'm going to hit the middle icon and I'm going to scroll down till I get to my design and I'm going to click set. There's a background in this from something that was scanned before. And for those of you that don't know how to get rid of that, you go up to your settings page. You go to page 9. And the background image display you click off. And then press OK. Now my design has come back up there. So whatever the last thing was that you scanned, sometimes, depending if you've got rid of it or not, it might pop back up when you open your or turn your machine back on again. This is the design that I've already done. So it's already there. But if you create something in the machine or you bring in other designs, you can use that as well. Once you bring in your design, you can resize this if you want. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. You're going to click on the edit icon at the top. Notice there's a whole bunch of icons that are lit up. We also have like 4 of them that are grayed out. Those are ones that you can't use at this point. The auto applique looks like the little shield. You're going to click on that, and it's going to make an applique design right around the outside edge. We've done this for keychains and things like that before when we've done the vinyl, and we've used the same icon, so there's multiple uses for it. Once that's done, we can adjust the distance. That to me is a good distance for what I like. But if you want to go adjust the distance away from the design that you want your applique to be, you click on your settings page and you go to page 8. And it shows you right at the bottom. You can adjust higher or lower your applique distance. I'm going to leave mine at 0.120 because I like it there. Okay. And then you press OK. Once you get that, on the Solaris, if you have the Solaris, you can automatically adjust that distance right on the page when you put it in. After you click that applique outline, Solaris, it shows it right there, and you don't have to go into your settings to change it. You can change that right there. So you're a little step ahead of things when you do that. The applique appears at the end of the design, so that's going to be the very last thing that you stitch because that's the very last thing that we put in. So that's good. It will do a placement, a running stitch placement. It'll do another running stitch tack down, and then it will cover the raw edges. So after it does the second running stitch tack down, you're going to trim your fabrics if you choose to, if you're appliquing directly onto something. In this case, we are not appliquing directly onto something. So what I did after I stitched the design is I stitched that first running stitch around my design. Then I trimmed it just past the outline. I trimmed the shape. Then on the second, the placement stitch, I stitched that onto my garment or whatever I was stitching it on. That way now that gave me a spot under here to place my cutout applique. Then I line my applique up over the top of it. And you want to use a water soluble tape to go all the way across it. You don't want to catch your applique in the machine. So this should be covered, and I didn't have any water soluble tape. It's thinner. Or take a piece of water soluble stabilizer and lay it right over the top and tape it down. Then it's going to go around and it's going to stitch your applique. You can go back and stitch the placement again. If you go back a few stitches or a step and tack that down, and then it's going to satin stitch all the way around it, and this will be on there, on your garment. You can use other colors of twill, whatever you can do these for hats. A lot of people are putting these on baseball caps because you can do a little bit bigger design, and it's easier if you don't have a hat hoop to just like tack it down. Many of them are using the raw edge and they're just letting it fray. That's the big thing now. So if you do that, it's just gonna do a run stitch around it and tack it down, which is a lot easier than trying to stitch an entire hat in the hoop. You know, you're just gonna have that for. Okay, so when you do this, you adjusting it. If I didn't like this, let's just change this a little bit and see if we want to increase the so notice the second time around, look how much farther away it went. You would want to change your distance prior to hitting the icon because I left the first one on there so you could see by changing the distance what it would be. So you'll want to kind of know that or play around with it before you set it and hit it to know. Like I can delete it. And now because I changed it already in there, let's just make sure it went a little bit. So it will be ready. Then you stitch as you want to. And notice up here in your sequence view that it is that would be my last stitch. So stitching along, it's going to stitch all the way around. There's my placement that you're going to stitch on top of, right outside the edge of, to know where you're going to cut. You can cut inside or just outside. I used a tearaway on the back. Also, I used twill fabric with a piece of iron-on no-show mesh on the back of it, a piece of lightweight batting, and I hooped tearaway in my machine. So it's stiff, but it's not overly stiff. You don't want something that's going to be rock hard. You want it to be a little more pliable. So again, you're going to hoop your tearaway. I floated lightweight batting and fabric that you're going to stitch on for the badge or the patch. You can also, at the end, if you want to put a little bit of iron-on stabilizer, that tearaway, not tearaway, heat and bond. If you want to iron it on a little bit to hold it in place so it doesn't buckle in the center depending on the size of your design, you can put a little bit of that on the back before you do the satin stitch around it, and then just tear it away, and then you'll be able to press it down in place, and that will help from your needle catching it or your presser foot catching it also. If this is a thick design, you could also change your presser foot, your embroidery foot height. That's on page 7. This is the default at 0.060 because it's black. You can raise it, you can lower it, depending on what type of fabric and thickness that you're using. You want it to be able to glide over it, not hump and pull it. So feel free to change that and then put it back to your default each time. Stitch out the design, stitch out the placement stitch for the applique around the design, and then you're going to trim around it. Remember, if you don't wear it, don't tear it. Don't use tearaway stabilizer on garments. If you always remember that little poem, if you wear it, don't tear it. I did put tearaway on the back of this, just on the back of this. When I hoop my garment, it is not tearaway. I have a cutaway. That's where you don't want to put tearaway. Okay. Okay. Stitch your second running stitch to tack it down, then trim your badge around those lines. So once you stitch it on here, you're going to trim your badge, and then you're going to do the satin stitch. I would go through and I would stitch the tack down on this again, just to hold it in place. And then if you did put iron-on it, I would take my iron onto the back of your garment and lightly press it. Remember, it's going to be in the hoop, so you don't want to press real hard, and you don't want to loosen up your stabilizer. So if you have one of those little mini irons, or you have the real little tiny one, the clover, you'll be able to tack it down with that. Be careful on the front doing that unless you're using a pressing sheet, because you don't want to melt your threads. Okay, and then remove it from the hoop, trim your stabilizer from the back, and then rinse away anything that you may have on the top of that water-soluble stabilizer that's holding your patch down. And it's done. So in reference, you can use your guide to do, it'll show you how to make your own designs and go around it. You can put it on vinyl, make keychains. You can make your own patches, multitude of things you can do. Okay. Any questions? Anybody on today? Nancy Rukoff found you. She just found us. Janice Desaro says hello. Margie is home and she is on. She just left, so it's working. Hello, ladies. Okay. So any questions on that? I know this was a quick one today. We're going to have some activities going on for those of you that we may be at home with this coronavirus going around. We want to make it fun. So keep in touch with us. Watch Facebook, watch YouTube. We have some ideas coming up for kits and things that you can do at home, and we're going to have some prizes. We want to make this fun, even though it's not a fun thing to be dealing with. We want to kind of make it fun if we're stranded in the house. We don't want to be stranded. I saw somebody post the other day. They're not worried about toilet paper running out of. They're worried about thread. So that's what that's what we're worried about too. That we're going to run out of thread. So stock up on your thread. We do have quite a bit here, so we're good. Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
And tomorrow at Hoop to Do Club, thread is on special, so you'll be able to stock up. Look at your little sheets, go through your inventory, and see what you need. We'll be here. Okay.
Very good.
Yes, I am because my big face and cheeks are sticking right in the school.